Well, the New York Times is reporting this morning that Joe Biden's family is telling him to keep fighting as they huddle at Camp David. The president and his team are reportedly trying to figure out how to ease Democratic anxiety after Friday's disastrous debate performance.
Wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
It doesn't matter how many times you see that, it gets bad every time. Well, joining us live is the Republican strategist John Jordan. John, so Joe Biden, according to the New York Times, he fights on, but for how long?
Yeah, it remains to be seen. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. There's a lot of struggling in Democrat circles. The fundamental problem the Democrats have here, it isn't just persuading Biden to step aside. It's also persuading Kamala Harris to step aside, because polling has consistently shown that she's even less popular.
Yeah.
She was attorney general in California. She's never really won an election that was contested before. When she ran for president in 2019, her campaign collapsed before the first primary votes were even cast. So they have that problem to deal with, and that's a separate independent problem. She's 59 years old and doesn't really want to go anywhere. Additionally, if they do manage to get her out, which they probably won't, there's a question of how do you finance a campaign, because the Biden-Harris campaign would have to refund a lot of these donors, and they would have to come up with alternative vehicles to fund the campaign, so they wouldn't be able to use the $200 million they have on hand.
I mean, you've got the convention that's not too far away as well. I mean, is it even more chaotic, or might it be even more chaotic if he does decide to step aside?
Well, great question. Let's walk through this procedurally. I'm also an attorney, and I've gone through the law on this and the Democrat National Committee bylaws. And if he withdraws now, that throws it open, an open convention, and it's open to anyone. If, however, they bypass Kamala or try to push her out, that alienates a lot of black women who are the backbone in many ways of the Democrat Party. And that's not a Democrat they're going to want to anger. And so that would be a big mess and a big spectacle in Chicago. If he withdraws after he's formally nominated, then the 500-person Democrat National Committee can decide who it is, basically behind closed doors. But if it's not Kamala Harris, they have to give back all that money and find another way to mechanisms to fund their campaign going into the fall.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're in California. Might your governor be seeing opportunity here?
Probably not. Governor Newsom is unpopular now in California. His numbers have fallen apart. California Democrats are different from swing state Democrats. Even Democrats in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and the like, they don't want their states to end up like California, because California residents are fleeing. So you don't want the stink of California if you're running for president in the Midwest. Moreover, again, goes back to Kamala. How do you kick her out? How do you deny her the nomination? Become a vice president of the United States.
Well, on her too. I mean, wasn't her one job the border, which has been an absolute failure? So that would just be red meat for Republicans, for Team Trump, and she'd just be an easy target.
Yeah, that's true. And it's even worse. She's horrible on television. She's just kind of unlikable and pedantic and condescending. And she doesn't learn. I mean, she has high turnover rates in her staff. She doesn't read the briefing books. She's just been kind of a one-party state in California. She's climbed the ladder, so she's never had been in a politically adversarial situation before. So I don't think they want to go with Kamala. And so Kamala is kind of Joe Biden's best insurance right now.
But look, when it comes to Joe Biden, I mean, is there sentiment in America that's building which suggests, look, it's just cruel to have him up? It was the worst debate performance I've ever seen. And I know I'm not alone on that front. And if he gets another 4 years, what's he going to be like then?
No, I mean, people know that basically if under the status quo right now, if you vote for Biden, you're basically voting for Kamala Harris. And that's bad for the Democrats because nobody likes her, really. That's almost an unwinnable thing. The other big casualty from the debate was the credibility of the American media. The American media has basically in the tank for the Democrats and spouted whatever the Democrats wanted to say for years. Journalistic ethics are out the window. And so they've been covering for Joe Biden on every show and every media outlet up until the debate.
Yeah.
And now now the American media has been exposed for what it is. And so that was the other casualty this last week.
It looked like a wake on the CNN, I've got to say, after the debate on Friday afternoon our time. Meanwhile, just closing here, John, is it a free ride for Donald Trump at the moment?
You know, you have 4 months to go. You have a hostile media environment. You have a Democrat Party that'll do anything to hold on to power. So you got to look for the unexpected here. I don't think there's anything is a gimme, but he's certainly got an advantage. And the Democrats have got no good choices. And this is unprecedented. So we're just going to have to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, we will. John, appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.